This video is sponsored by Skillshare. Yo guys, what is up? Max on Wonderlands video, and today we're talking about 10 of the best improvements that they've made to Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, 10 new additions. Now, I've been playing the game for almost 2 weeks now. I have beaten the game, and I want to talk about some things that are really awesome that they've added. I will be talking about some additions that they've made, or changes that they've made to what the end game is going to be, but I will have spoilers, like warnings, before we talk about anything endgame. Also, I will be showing footage from the first 2 hours of the game, nothing more than the first 2 hours, just the very first beginning 2 hours, and nothing story spoiler wise from those 2 hours. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let's get right into it. All right, starting out at number 1, backpack sizes increased. At level 1, you start with 36 backpack inventory space, which is so nice. I'm currently at 60 backpack space on my main character, and I haven't even maxed out my SDUs. So I think you can get even higher than 60 backpack space, which is really nice. There's so many new gear types in this, with armors and rings and amulets and melee weapons and spells, that you're gonna want to be collecting as much stuff as you possibly can get. So starting out with that bigger backpack size is really nice. At our number 2 spot, and these are in no particular order, is the overworld. Now, particularly overworld exploration. When I first saw the overworld, I was worried it might be a little bit gimmicky, but the overworld is massive. It's this giant playable area that's got so many branching pathways, like complete maps that you could miss entirely. I avoided like 3 entire maps that have major side quest missions just on my main playthrough because I didn't explore the overworld enough, as well as meaningful exploration in the overworld. So, for example, this is a shrine. I haven't started this quest yet. We're not going to do that, but that is a shrine, and in order to activate that shrine, I need to go explore and grab 4 missing shrine pieces. You can see a shrine piece over there, and like you've got to figure out your way and explore your way to get all the shrine pieces. There's dungeons to explore, there's camps to go into, there's NPCs to interact with, there's hidden doors and objectives to go get other shrine pieces. You could spend so much time in this overworld, and one of the best things about it is its rewarded exploration. So if we go to our shrine buffs, there's a 10% gold gain, a 10% experience gain, a 15% overworld movement speed, 10% crit damage, 10% loot luck, and 10% moon orb gain. If you get all the pieces for the shrines, that is permanently unlocked for your character forever. You're just going to get 10% more crit damage on your character. So not only is the overworld cool to explore, but if you want to fully get your character to doing everything that they could possibly doing, you're going to be rewarded for doing that exploration and getting more experience because you explored the overworld. It's a super cool feature, and I love that they're actually rewarding your exploration. Our next best addition are the new weapon types. Now, I could talk to you about how great the crossbow weapons are, or the new energy shotguns, but the one type that stood out to me the most is actually the Furior Manufacturer, otherwise known as TDR. These weapons have seen a dramatic change in their power and their usefulness in terms of, like, in Borderlands 3, they were a little bit more gimmicky. In this game, you can throw a Furior, a green one, and summon a blade tornado, or summon a lightning bolt, or summon, like, racks that will fly and hit different enemies. They will create hydras when you throw them. They are one of the most diverse manufacturers now, and extremely strong, and it's so great to see them make a comeback in this game. Next up, we've got the portal system. Now, this kind of helps with save quit farming. It's not a complete solve to save quit farming, but I want to show you guys how this works. So currently I am in this map, and if I go back to the main area, it creates a portal to basically save the location that I was at, or the general area of the map that I was in, and then I can go back through the portal and go back to where I was without actually having to, like, go open up a map and go to the exact location. So I was just in the Snoring Valley. It created a portal there. I can now hit the portal and return. But what this helps with is, for example, if you're farming a boss with a group, instead of having to save and quit out of the area and then invite your friends back, you can kill a boss, travel back to the main area, travel back in, and you can stay in a party with your friends, and the boss will reload, so you can farm bosses over and over again without actually having to leave the game. It's not a complete solve. You are going to still sit through loading screens, but it definitely helps keeping parties together if you're wanting to farm a boss as a group. Next up, we've got the money economy. Now, I will say that money is more important in this game than it's ever been in any Borderlands game. Specifically, SDU upgrades are going to cost a lot. A lot of the time, the item of the day in vending machines are really good, especially when you get further on into the game. You'll see some crazy pieces of gear show up in the vending machine, and the only way to get them is money. Money is in scarcity. In fact, on my max level character, I am most of the time not able to afford the item of the day unless I'm really trying to save up for purchasing one. SDU upgrades cost a lot, and one of the coolest things about the vendors, and this is a new thing, is quest rewards can show up in vending machines, any vending machine. So if you go do a side quest and you get a really cool spell or a really cool piece of gear from it, but you out level it because you got it during your story, and maybe you should have saved that side quest till your max level. Now, once you do that side quest piece of gear can then show up at the vending machine, which will scale automatically to your level. So if you're worried about beating a side quest too early or having to save something till like you beat the entire game, those pieces of gear can just show up in the vending machines, making money that much more important. Speaking of side quests, another feature that was added is that side quests and areas scale to your level. Meaning if you grab a bunch of side quests and you grab them because they're available, but then you go do main story quests and you progress in the game, and then you want to go back and do those side quests, a lot of the other Borderlands games, you would now be over leveled. It wouldn't be worth to do that side quest because you'd get gear that was under leveled, you get XP that wasn't worth it to you. Side quests, when you accept them, level up with you, so you can grab a side quest and then go do it whenever you'd like. As well as areas scale to your level no matter where you go in the game. Besides, I will say, main story quests have a set level, so like you're gonna have to do some side quests to get up to the level of a main story quest, but for the most part, the areas that you're in, the worlds that you're in, if you come back to the very beginning of the game, the enemies will be the exact level for you. If you come back as a level 40 character to the starting tutorial area, the enemies will be level 40, which is awesome, and you don't need to do a True Vault Hunter mode run through to get that. By the way, there is no True Vault Hunter mode. It's one playthrough on this game, and things will scale to your level as you go through that. Next up on our best additions, we've got Dark Magic. Now, this is kind of a weird one to talk about, but it is a new element, and I really like it, and I think they did a really good job with it. So Dark Magic damage, every character starts with the same Dark Magic leech. You're going to get 5% of your health back when you hit enemies with it, and you can increase the amount of health you get back by increasing your Dark Magic efficiency. And I wanted to talk about this because, one, I think Dark Magic looks really cool in this game, but two, it's some of the most balanced healing that we've had in a Borderlands game because it's not lifesteal. It's not like you can shoot a weapon with a lot of damage and you instantly heal back to full, or you shoot a really strong spell and you're instantly back to full. The way that it works is you're going to need to hit multiple enemies to heal multiple times. You're going to get 5% of your HP back when you hit an enemy with Dark Magic damage, and so to heal efficiently, you're going to want to be hitting a lot of enemies, and the enemy density in this game is very good. There's always lots of enemies, but Dark Magic damage is a very balanced way of healing because you don't need to like hold out a pistol and use a spell to heal from it. Just anything with Dark Magic damage will heal you, and the game adds a lot of ways to add Dark Magic damage to weapons, or use Dark Magic damage if you didn't have it, or you've got a weapon that your favorite weapon is cryo, to still be able to deal Dark Magic damage with it. There are a lot of options, but it never feels like it's a hit button and you're full health. It always feels like you need to be strategic. If you're one-on-one with an enemy, Dark Magic damage healing is significantly reduced. If you're one-on-one with a boss, like, it's going to be tougher because you only have that 5% that you're going to heal from. It doesn't matter if it's a rocket launcher or a pistol shot, you're only going to heal 5% of your HP, but it works much better in mobbing when you're taking all this other damage because you're going to be healing from all the different enemies. It's one of the better additions to this game, and I really like what they did with it. For the rest of the video, I do want to talk about some of the changes that they've added to Endgame. Endgame is super important to me, and so I want to share with you guys some things about the Endgame, but I will not be showing any gameplay of it. There will be no spoilers. We're just going to be still showing the beginning of the game, but I do want to mention some Endgame additions that are great. So, spoilers, you've been warned. Starting off, you can add anoints to any piece of gear. If you get a piece of gear that's really good and it doesn't drop with an enchant or an anoint, enchants are what they're called in this game, if you get a really good piece of gear, you can just add an enchant to it. In Borderlands 3, for example, there was really cool weapons that you'd get from a quest, but they didn't come with an enchant. didn't come with an enchant, just add one to it. You can add enchants to any piece of gear, which makes any piece of gear valuable. And at the end game, at the highest difficulty, so many pieces of gear drop without enchants, and that means that everything that drops is going to be valuable to you, not only things with the shiniest beams, because you can add them to any piece of gear. Speaking of endgame gear, the way they've done gear progression in this game is really clever. Now, in Borderlands 2 or Borderlands 3, you would have OP 1, 2, 3, 4, Mayhem 1, 2, 3, 4, and the guns that dropped from enemies on those levels scaled to those enemies. You would get Mayhem 10 items from Mayhem 10 enemies. That is not how it works in this game. In fact, items that drop at Chaos level 1 and 2 are still completely viable at Chaos level 20. The enemies go up in health values and they get more difficult, and your build is going to be more refined, but a Chaos level 1 weapon is just going to be the same as a Chaos level 20 weapon. So what actually changes? The biggest change is your chance to get chaotic and volatile pieces of gear. Chaotic and volatile gear is the same gear that you know and love. It can be like a white piece of gear or a green piece of gear, a purple piece of gear, or even a legendary piece of gear that will just have better stats than its non-chaotic or non-volatile counterpart. And the way that the progression works is as you work up the chaos levels, you get higher chances of getting these chaotic pieces of gear and these volatile pieces of gear, so that it's kind of a natural progression where at Chaos level 5, you might have 1 or 2 chaotic pieces of gear equipped, but by Chaos level 20, pretty much every piece of gear that you have is going to be chaotic. There are slight damage increases over the base versions, so they're not like must-haves, but they still are going to improve without making the gear that you got at the beginning of the game completely useless, which I really enjoy. And our final best addition to Wonderlands is Chaos Chambers. Chaos Chambers are the end game, and they are the most amount of endgame content we've ever had for a Borderlands or Borderlands-like title at launch. They are not perfect. There are some things that I'd like for them to change, but the amount of content, the amount of grinding, how well thought out they are, the like randomness of each time you go through, you'll be in a different room with different enemies or different bosses, is so cool, and you never really know what to expect, meaning that your build needs to kind of be optimized for all these different situations, all these different enemies that you may encounter, which makes build crafting at endgame really exciting. I've really enjoyed the Chaos Chambers, and I don't want to talk too much about them, but just know that they're really great. All right, guys, that is going to do it for the video. Stick around for a message from Skillshare, the sponsor of this video, and I will catch y'all in the next one, guys. Take care. Peace. Thanks to Skillshare for sponsoring this video. Now, if you did not know, Skillshare is an online learning community that offers thousands of classes, and with all the new games coming out, if you've ever wanted to get started on a YouTube channel, now is a great time, and Skillshare is a great resource to have. I was browsing through the YouTube videos that they offer advice on thumbnails, editing, and so much more, and stumbled on this video that I really liked. That was YouTube Success by Marquez Brownlee. He's a growing or very popular tech channel, and kind of walks through his whole process of everything that he does, from his editing to writing scripts and so much more. If you are interested in Skillshare, the first 1,000 people that click the link in my description get a free trial of Skillshare, so give it a try yourself. Hope you guys enjoyed the video, and thanks again to Skillshare for sponsoring this. I will catch you all in the next one, guys. Take care. Peace.